Good evening, guys. Say good evening, folks. It's your bro. Richie Rich here. Excuse me. So it's your bro, Richie Rich here. So your bro, Richie Rich here. So Richie Rich here. Tonight in this video is now part 3 on the Pontiac Firebird. So, tonight in this video, I'll be talking to you about one of my most favorite versions of the Firebird, which is the Gen 3 Firebird from 1982, so 1982 to 1992. So the Gen 3 from 1982 to 1990. So 1982 to 1992. So this is gonna be pretty exciting. So before I start, make sure you guys all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell, and hit all so you alert of when I make brain uploads. All right. So with that being said, without any further ado, let's excuse me. Without any further ado, let's get started. So the Gen 3 Firebird from is that up? There we go. Perfect. Oh, the camera was a little bit crooked, but oh well. That's fine. So the next version is the Gen 3 Firebird. The Gen 3 Firebird from 1982 to 1992. Here we go. Overview, as always, is first, so let's begin. Production was from 82 to 92, so 1982 to 1992. Assemblies were these two assembly plants. The first one was at the Van Nuys assembly. So it was at the Van Nuys assembly plant in the neighborhood of Van Nuys in the central San Fernando Valley. San Fernando Valley. So San Fernando Valley. Right? San Fernando Valley region of Los Angeles, California. So California. Home to both the Van Nuys Airport and the Valley Municipal Building. It's the most populous neighborhood in the San Fernando Valley. Not too bad. So Los Angeles, California. The second assembly plant was at the Norwood assembly plant in the city of Norwood, Hamilton County, Ohio. So Hamilton County, Ohio. I said Hamilton County, Ohio. So Ohio. So Hamilton County, Ohio. But that one in Norwood, Hamilton County, Ohio, was for the 1982 to 1987 Trans Am. Well, Firebird, technically. The designers are both Jerry Palmer, who's a retired automotive designer. So both Jerry Palmer and so excuse me, Jerry Palmer and Bill Porter. So Bill Porter, body and chassis next. Body style, two types you can choose from a two-door is either a liftback, so liftback, or a convertible. Platforms and F body, so platforms and F body. It's related to the Gen 3. It's related. It's related to the Gen 3 Camaro. So Gen 3 Chevy Camaro. Powertrain is next. For the motors, we got 6 different versions. So the first one we got is the 2.5 liter, 2.5 liter 151. So 2.5 liter 150, 2.5 liter 150. So 2.5 liter 150. So 2.5 liter 150. So 2.5 liter 151 Ponti, Pontiac inline 4. So Pontiac inline 4. Then we got both a we got both a 2.8 liter 2.8 liter 173. So 2.8 liter 173 and a 3.1 liter 191. Both GM 60 degree V6s. Then we got the legendary motor itself, the 3.8 liter 231, the 3.8 liter 231 Buick Turbo V6. So Buick Turbo the 3.8 liter 231 Buick Turbo V6. And then we got both a 5 liter 305 5 liter 305 and a 5.7 liter 350, both Chevy V8s. So both Chevy V8s. So Chevy V8s. I like that. Yeah, sure, the V6 is alright. Not sure about the inline 4, but the V8 is just a proper muscle car motor for a muscle car like this. Out of all those 6, the one I go with is definitely the 5.7 liter 350 Chevy V8. Transmissions, we got 4 different versions. 2 types you can choose from an automatic is either a 3-speed or a 4-speed, and for a manual is either a 4-speed or a 5-speed. So I would go with 2 different versions for myself personally. For like cruising, if I just want to go like cruising in general, just chilling, I'd go with the 4-speed automatic. But if I want to feel like a proper driver, I would be, and just feel connected to the streets, even to like a track, maybe drag racing, I don't know. The 5-speed manual would definitely be a better option, definitely. But manual, just going fast and just having fun, and automatic, just really cruising, relaxing, just chilling while you're going across literally the highway, just chilling. Literally, I would do that. Like literally, just for automatics, like you just relax and just chill, cruise in like style. Well, not necessarily style. Well, it depends on what suits your mood. But if for fun, you just want to do it, that's totally fine. Anyways, next up is dimensions. The most tiring for me because it just gets confusing as hell. Literally. Well, it depends on what car I'm talking about. For dimensions, it's just so complicated. I just figure out like where the heck I left off to for what part. Like literally. Yeah, it is so confusing, especially for different types for the same aspect. Because for like one category, for example, like maybe length or width would have multiple versions of the different years with the different dimension results. That's what I'm trying to say. It's totally confusing for me, bro. Kind of confusing, but also complicated as well. It's like figure out where, cause it's just so much to focus on. It's tough. But I do try in general for this. It depends on how much there is for different specific type of cars. Not just cars, but trucks. And someday I might do a video on pickup trucks because I don't think I've done any. Well, I did, but for Fast and Furious I did. But in general, in real life, not one pickup truck video ever. So possibly for my next few videos or so after I do the possibly for my next video after I finish off the Pontiac video completely, all the different versions, I might try to do a pickup truck. I don't know, like I just don't know when, but at some point I will try. I will try scramble up what I can, but I don't know. I'll I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Anyway. Anyway, so gearbox, two types, four types you can choose from two different versions. Um, it's either a 3-speed or 4-speed automatic, or a 4-speed, 5-speed manual. Well, again, 4-speed automatic I choose for cruising, 5-speed manual if I want to do drag racing, and just going fast. Just going fast, drag racing, all that kind of stuff. Donuts, burnouts, drifting, you name it, I'll kind of do. But anyways, so next up dimensions. So wheelbase goes in at wheelbase goes in at 25 2565 millimeters. Dead on. So can't even talk. Dead on straight at 101 inches for wheelbase. Length, there's four different versions of the Pontiac Firebird, and also the Trans Am as well. So the first one, so we got both the Firebird and the Trans Am. So I'll do the first part and then the second part. So for the first part, so it goes in that between. uh 4956 to 40 so 4956 to 4958 millimeters, 195.1 to 195 point 195.1 to 195.2 inches. Reason being is because the Trans Am um, is uh, 0.1 inches, 2 millimeters slightly longer than the Firebird from 1990 to 1992. So it's between 4956 to 4958 millimeters, 195.1 to 195.2 inches, with the Trans Am being slightly longer than the Firebird, both from 1990 to 1992. Then we got two more versions of the Firebird and Trans Am, which these versions goes in that between 4839 to 40 so 4839 um to 4872 millimeters, 195 no 185 sorry 190.5 to 191.8 inches. Reason being why there's a uh, 33 millimeter, 1.3 inch difference is because, considering that both the Firebird and Trans Am were pre 1988 cars, the Firebird was slightly shorter than the Trans Am, which that one was slightly longer than the Firebird. So that's the difference why. Depending on the years, will depend on like the dimensions of the different versions of those cars. So depending on the different dimensions for the different types of versions of those cars. Next up is width. It goes in at 1839, right up like 1840 millimeters, 72.4 inches in width, and height goes in at 1200 1262 millimeters, 49.7 inches in height. The one that is missing is the curb weight, apparently, but I don't know. But I'm not gonna go into too much of that. Anyway, so moving on. So moving on. So the Gen 3 Firebird from 1982 to 1992. Here we go. both the availability and cost, so price of gasoline, two fuel crises had occurred by that time. Meant both the weight and the fuel consumption of the Gen 3 Firebird had to be considered in the design. In F-body displacement, because the platform was an F-body car. In F-body displacement, not displacement, sorry. excuse me, in F body development, both both the Gen 3 Firebird, Firebird and Camaro. So Firebird and Camaro um were proposed as possible front wheel drive platforms. Are you kidding me? Why? Give the goddamn rear wheel drive platform. Jesus Christ. Like, honestly, like, why aren't they just doing this? Why can't they just keep it rear wheel drive? It would just be much more simpler. It would just save the hassle. Sorry. It's just like, literally, every time I talk about these cars, it's usually with front wheel drive. I hate that. Rear wheel drive's like the proper layout. I mean, look, yeah, sure, all wheel drive would have been great. But to stay true to this platform, the proper rear wheel drive is the proper platform to have. Unbelievable. So in F-body development, oh my god. So in F-body development, both Gen 3 Firebird, and Camaro were so both the Gen 3 Firebird and Camaro were proposed as possible front wheel drive platforms, but the idea was scrapped. But the idea was scrapped. Thank God they kept the rear wheel drive platforms. Thank God for that. I was worried for a second. Whew. Glad I got out of that one. Glad I got out of that one. Anyways. But yeah, so anyways. So yeah, but the idea was scrapped. Computerized EMS, so engine management system. So computerized engine management was in its infancy, and with fuel efficiency being the primary objective, it wasn't possible. So it was impossible to have higher horsepower, both higher horsepower and torque numbers. They did manage, however, to cut enough weight from the design, so the acceleration performance would be better than the 1981 models. Like 1981 models. They also succeeded in reducing fuel consumption, offering an inline 4 Firebird, half the size of a V8. So offering an inline 4 Firebird, that would provide. This one might interest you guys. So if you want to just skip right through, it's a MPG. I know not many people would be interested, others would be, but if you're not really interested, just skip through the video if you wish. I truly don't mind. So yeah, excuse me. So offering an inline 4 Firebird that would provide 34 miles per gallon. In the US, 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers. GM executives decided that engineering effort would best be spent would best be spent on both aerodynamics, aerodynamics and chassis development. So aerodynamics and chassis development. They created a modern platform. Um, so that when engine technology was advanced, or like is advanced, they would have a well balanced they would have a well balanced package, with these important pieces. So these important ingredients: acceleration, acceleration, braking, acceleration, braking, handling, and aerodynamics. So aerodynamics. Both the both the Firebird and Camaro were completely redesigned for the 82 model year. So for 1982, with the windshield, or well, windscreen slope set at just 62 degrees. It's around 62 degrees. I think so. Starting here, and I think so this is 90 degrees. So I'd say about that much. I think, or the more, less, the more. I don't know, but somewhere around there. I think. Um. So yeah, both the Firebirds and Camaro were completely redesigned for the 1982 model year. So for the 82 model year, with the windshield slope set at just set at just 62 degrees. So just set at just 62 degrees. About 3 degrees steeper. So 3 degrees 3 degree